to the medical establishment. All in the name of COVID. Which is why, and who is it who's on the board over there at Central District Health? And who does he work for? St. Luke's Health System. Because if they had to make money right now through the private insurance system, guess what they've done through all this mess? They've driven away their normal everyday bread and butter customers. Means they are going to sink if they don't get free money from the government, which is what I bread and butter customers. Means they are going to act the biggest lobbying group here in Idaho. They mainly support the medical establishment getting government money and pouring it into their coffers. So we challenged it. We went on, and I won't read the rest of this, you can read it later, but we went on to challenge them very specifically. Why? Because they claimed that you should do it, you should have your civil unrest and blah, blah, blah in your Discord in a peaceful and appropriate manner. So we're saying, okay, that's what you're saying we should. Let's do it then. Let's debate peaceful, and we even offered to pay for all the equipment to set it up to live stream it across the entire state. And then we said this: if you reject our offer to debate, then you must at least give us an explanation as to why. You have signed your names to a statement claiming that political expression must be exercised civilly and in a proper setting, and that we should never resort to anything other than expressing our opinions and passionately debating the issues. So we are offering you, the current leaders of the Idaho political establishment, the opportunity to peaceably debate these issues that are causing statewide protests in a public forum and in a proper setting. Now, you can read the rest of it. It's posted on our website. Most of you have already read it. But here's the point. Obviously, we know they're never going to debate us. We never thought for a minute they would. But man, that would be cool if they did, wouldn't it? Oh yeah, we something. And I'm hoping that they will. And we're going to encourage everybody in this room, for you and your friends, to contact all these guys. Blow up their emails and their phones and say, debate Ammon, Bundy, and Diego Rodriguez. Debate them. Go out there.
I had my headphones on backwards.
Shame on you.
This is a peoplesrights.org meeting with Ammon Bundy there in the corner sitting.
We know they're targeting these groups. We know they're targeting us, and they're the ones claiming that we're the leaders of these protests, when it's not necessarily the case. So if that's the case, and if that's true, and that's what you're claiming, then let's talk about it. Let's see who's right and let's see who's wrong. Good question.
Why can't we put that on the news so it's...
We're going to try very hard, but do you think it will get there? Right? Which is why the pressure has to come from the bottom up and not the top down.
Why don't we pressure the media?
Go for it. That's what I'm asking you to do. Do it. This is why this is available as a download off of our website. This is why we even have pictures of the envelopes that we sent to them, so they can't claim that they never got them. We send them certified letter, and we have all the receipts for every single one of them. People have already been contacting them. We have some of their private cell phone numbers that I've been in contact with them, and they've been ignoring me now. Quick question. Yeah, and that's all on there. I'm supposed to be talking about COVID vaccines. So I just wanted to put this out there really, really quick, because we'll go down a rabbit trail, and I'm done with that. But I just want to encourage everybody here. Help us. Do your part and put pressure on them. Because at the end of the day, why are we doing this? To expose them. Politicians will always be corrupt. Remember, they have the greater sin. So you can get mad at the cops, but why don't we go to the root? Let's go to the root. Because the cops are being threatened. They're in a hard place. I agree that they ought to make the right decision. But they're the ones being told they have to do this. And at the end of the day, no matter what anybody says, I don't care whose opinion comes on this one, people make decisions based on their pocketbook. It's what happens at the end of...
This is the group of people that went out to North Idaho with North Idaho Exposed channel, and they started protesting outside the Township Council meeting's house, and it made the news, and I don't know, maybe some of you guys think it's fake. It could be, I don't know. But it seems like these guys got the right idea.
You're not going to like what I have to share with you today. I do believe that you will be appreciative of the facts and knowing what's going on, but you're not going to like what I have to share with you today. I will be brief, because there is a tremendous amount of content to to go through, so I will be as brief as possible. I think they can see without that on. Can you guys see without that, with the light on? Yeah. So go ahead and turn the light back on. If I get to a part, there's a video I will play at the end where I will turn it back on. Again, terrible things happen to folks when you are willingly ignorant of things. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Just stick the needle in my arm and don't tell me anymore. I don't want to know. But I believe we got to operate by this principle right here. Don't believe everything you hear, but try the spirits. In the 1 Thessalonians, it says to prove all things. So you need to prove all those things and hold fast to that which is good. So for months, you and I have been told that the COVID vaccine, which didn't even exist yet, it's safe and effective. It's safe. How can you tell me something's safe and effective when it doesn't even exist yet? It's absolutely ridiculous. The amount of media attention and the true conspiracy, that I just mean people all working together with the, we already talked 2 weeks ago, was it, about the power of controlled information? How they're all controlling the same information to give you the same message to control people. Yeah. And the way they've been doing this with vaccine is literally unparalleled. Like nothing you've ever seen before. If you just type into Google, is the COVID vaccine safe? It doesn't even give you an article. This right here comes up within Google telling you, oh yes, the vaccine which offers up to 95% protection against COVID-19 was deemed safe and effective by the FDA. And these are not even, this right here is not even links in their regular search results. This is like, you know, where Google is taking all this information and they're giving you special results. This is a COVID-19 alert you can see right up there. And so Google's making sure you know that it's safe. Here's from the New York Times. The coronavirus vaccine is safe and 95% effective. Here we get the Moderna one. Effectiveness and safety of Moderna COVID-19 vaccine confirmed. The path for expected authorization this week. Here's NBC. Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine safe and effective after 1 dose. It's safe and effective. Safe and look, you guys have seen it and heard it for months. Yet it was barely approved and barely rolled out here in the last week. Now, a couple of things to note. When people talk about the vaccine, there is not a the. There's multiple vaccines from multiple companies, etc. The one that was released this week was from Pfizer. But there are at least 3 right now that are currently in development and already been released. The first one is Moderna's messenger RNA vaccine. The second one is from the Shenzhen, which is a Chinese company, Genoimmune company. And that's the dendritic cell vaccine. That's the one I want. The Chinese one, man. Because if anybody knows what the original one was made out of, it's those guys. Bad joke, I know, bad joke.
Good joke.
Then of course there's Pfizer's, which is called BNT162b2. And no, that is not a Star Wars character, that is. It sounds like that'll be something come on the next Star Wars. I'm here with the R2-D2, C3PO, and BNT162b2. Oh, that's the actual vaccine. This is the one that they've been injecting people with starting this week. Now, what you guys need to know is this. No real data has been published about this vaccine until last week. Hey, you know what? This is messed up. This is supposed to be, whatever. It's mirroring my screen instead of letting me see the next slide. Whatever. It wasn't until this week. So here's the point. Very, very, very little has been published about the vaccine, so nobody really knows. Literally everything you've been hearing for months and months and months is just lying propaganda. And for anybody to say otherwise, they're being completely dishonest and disingenuous with you. Because how can you tell me something's safe in vaccine when there's no published data and nobody knows? You are just propagandist scum. That's all you are. Now, here's an interesting thing. The U.S. government's public repository with clinical trial data for all drugs and vaccines, which is something that's publicly available on the internet at all times, it does not publish current detailed results for the COVID vaccine candidates. So there's nothing there as well. And on Moderna's website, this is really, really funny. They have a page on their website dedicated to the data from their vaccine trial. And when you go there, all you get is all this bombastic drivel about how they have diversity and inclusion in their vaccine trial. Here's the actual graphic. It's a vaccine for everybody. African Americans participated. Males participated. Females. Those other genders.
I tried to find this on YouTube search using the exact title, real quick, and you try to look this up using YouTube search. You will not be able to find this, I don't think.
Including everybody, they're all there. And on this page, it's supposed to be dedicated to data from their vaccine study. Guess what you will not find? Any data. There's no data. Nothing at all. It's all a scam. Until a week ago. 1 week ago, Pfizer finally came out with a report called the Vaccines and Related Biological Products Advisory Committee, published on December 10th. What's today, the 17th? Yep. The 18th. Exactly 1 week ago. I have it right here in my never-before nicotine-stained hands, right? Okay? So, there's a little... Yeah, a little throw out to my man Rush for you. This is a 56-page report, and anybody who wants to see it, you can see it. We're posting it on our website, so you can download it. And it's just a bunch of data, and it's really, really hard to read through. I mean, it's just got reports. It's all medical terminology. It doesn't read like a novel, obviously. It's just a bunch of medical terminology talking about the study. It's hard to get through. But someone had to get through it. And we've done that for you. And here's the thing. You are going to be hearing all types of headlines about what came out in this report. But like everything, the devil's in the details. And when you get into what the report actually says, you are going to see how they spin the data in a way that's most favorable to them. Remarkably, I can tell you as someone who's gone through the report, hold on one quick second, I can't believe they even published this. Because if you do get into it and break it down, the data is really damning. But they're going to spin it in their favor, and I'll show you exactly how.
Isn't Pfizer the one selling this? But did they get their own report?
Oh, that's a remarkable thing. Who would have thought? He makes a very good point. He says, isn't it Pfizer, they're the one selling this, another one doing their own report? Yeah, they paid for it, they sponsored it, it's their report. So it's obviously going to be spun in their favor. And I'll make a point about that, well, I'll just make it right now. I have been accused of being anti-vax, and I have no problem with that. Call me anti-vax all you want, that does not bother me. However, I'm not actually anti-vax. And the reason why I'm not actually anti-vax is because I'm not anti-food. And I'm also not, anti-fathers. And I'm also not, anti-cop. And I can go down the line. You probably get it already. I'm not anti-food, but I'm anti-poison. And if all the food that's being given is poison, then I'm going to oppose all of it, and then you're going to call me anti-food.
Oh, you're skinny.
Many of you guys know that I was a pastor for 10 years in an inner city church in Central California, and I've put at least over a dozen fathers behind bars for abuse and molestation. I had to put them there. So does that mean I'm against fathers? You don't like fathers because you keep throwing them in jail. Yeah, because they're abusive, you idiot. But I'm also intelligent enough to discern that because one father is abusive, it doesn't make all fathers abusive.
Right.
But I'm also intelligent to know that there is a pattern that an abusive father follows. And you can see that pattern and red flags. And there's abusive cops. And there's abusive law enforcement. But just because one is abusive, it doesn't make them all abusive. Learn discernment, ladies and gentlemen.
Sounds good.
It's very, very simple. Now, I'm not against medicine, and I'm not against vaccine for this simple vaccines in principle, because conceptually, the medical concept of a vaccine is sound. And if you go back to 100 years ago, or whenever the first vaccine was invented, it had like 2 or 3 ingredients, and none of them were poisonous. And now these vaccines have 70 plus ingredients. They don't want to let you know what they are, and the ones that we do know are mostly poisonous. So in the modern day context, yeah, I'm pretty much anti-vax because it's all garbage.
Can you guys hear me, and can you hear the video okay, everybody?
We got a couple of contractors in here. If you built a house, and then you built the house using poor standards and not using any engineering standards to ensure the structural integrity of that house, and then it falls down on a family and kills all of them, are you going to be held accountable for that? Absolutely! which gives you an incentive to what? Build it right. Well, the government came out here and said, hey, guess what? You can build homes, and you don't have to follow any standards, and no matter how many people those houses fall on and it kills them, we'll protect you, we'll cover you, you won't owe a dime, you get to stay in business, and the government will pay for all the damages for you. Now what are you going to do? Now you say, well, I'm an honest man, I still do it right. I don't care, I'm not talking about you personally. I'm talking about fallen human nature. What are humans going to do? You are going to build everything to the lowest standards possible with the cheapest equipment possible, with the cheapest materials possible to increase your profits and throw it all on the government and say, I don't care. Now guess what? All medicines and all manufacturers of medicines and every single industry on planet Earth that have the potential to harm you as a person, they can all be held financially accountable for any harm they cause you. Every industry, every company on God's green earth, with one exception. Vaccine manufacturers. Now, remarkably, Pfizer is held accountable for the other medicines that it makes and creates that are not vaccines. So if they create a medicine, you take that medicine, and they can show that it gave you cancer, there could be a class action lawsuit against them. We would all collectively own Pfizer. So they're very careful. But when it comes to vaccines, you can't do or say anything about it. They can create whatever the heck they want, and it can hurt you and damage you all day long, create all types of secondary consequences, and it does not matter because there's no consequences for them whatsoever. There's no repercussions. And furthermore, if damages are held, it's the government who pays us off. It's disgusting, which exactly is right. That means you and I, the taxpayers, are paying for it. So, you've got to just use your brain and ask yourself, and that's been since 1986 that happened. It was a bill that was signed into law that unfortunately, the great Ronaldus Magnus signed into law. It was, in my mistake, it was the greatest flaw of his presidential career. Because people aren't perfect. You guys know I'm a huge Trump supporter. I completely am disgusted with Trump by the way he handled the COVID situation. But that doesn't mean that I don't like Trump. But he completely bombed, in my opinion, on this whole situation. In fact, all of this is getting rammed through because of Operation Warp Speed that he himself spearheaded. Okay? Now, this report came out today. A week ago. And the information in it is very, very damning. But let me give you some details of the study so you don't have to go through 56 pages of a bunch of medical jargon. I'm going to break it down very simple for you, all right? 20,000 people in this study got the vaccine. Pretty incredible. So this is a big study. 20,000 people got a placebo. So it's a very large group of people, and they come from every genetic background and every size, shape, and color. This was a legit study. When I went through this, I was like, whoa. So they weren't messing around. This is a true scientific study. They came from all different types of genetic compositions and backgrounds, and the rules and protocols were completely uniform across the entire experiment. Assuming that what's in this report is true, this is the case. And this is exactly what you do in a real science experiment. So you look at this, you're like, okay, it's not like 10 people here and 10 people there, and they select exactly. This is a legit study. So starting there from the beginning, you're like, okay, this is legit. Now let's see what happened to these people who went through it. Of the 20,000 people who got the vaccine, only 8 of them ended up acquiring COVID-19. So that's pretty remarkable. Listen very carefully. This is what you're going to hear over and over and over and over again. The statistics, I got the numbers, I believe it's 0.004%. So if you get the vaccine, then only 0.004% of the people are going to actually get COVID because we did this study. And this is all you're going to hear over and over and over again. And it appears that that's what the data is.
So they didn't have it before, but they got it after.
Sure, yep. Well, I mean, any group of people are going to get this disease at any point in time, right? You're going to get the flu, you're going to get a cold, whatever. This is the way a study is done. And those are great numbers, assuming that you're reading the data accurately. Let me keep going and you're going to see how sinister this becomes because this is all you're going to hear. And it's in there. However, quote, A higher proportion of vaccine recipients reported adverse events compared with placebo recipients. I can't believe they published it. It's in their own report. It's going to get worse. These adverse events among the vaccine recipients include Bell's palsy. Who knows what Bell's palsy is? My mom had Bell's palsy. When she got it, it freaked me out. What Bell's palsy is, it typically comes from ticks or some type of a bug bite or something like that. It's when half of your face becomes paralyzed and you no longer have function one side of your face, meaning one side of your face will droop, one eye will either stay permanently open or permanently shut because you no longer have control of one half of your face. The other thing is something that is called lymphadenopathy. And lymphadenopathy is basically a disorder where your lymph nodes swell up so they are physically enlarged and you can see them. Here's what, you can hit that light really quick. Here's what Bell's palsy looks like on people's face. And these people are not making funny faces trying to look funny and trying to tell a joke. This is what it looks like if someone with Bell's palsy tries to smile. One half of their face, they no longer have any function over it. And this is what they look like. Lymphadenopathy, here's a big giant swollen lymph node. And you can see that this swollen lymph node, what it is, it raises the specter of serious illness such as lymphoma, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, or metastatic cancer. This is what they published in their own report. You're not going to hear it, but it's in the report. You can hit the light again. Now, additionally, from these 20,000 people who received this vaccine, a majority of the 20,000 of them acquired the following symptoms: fatigue, headache, nausea, fever, and chills. Sounds like COVID-19. Now, here's the point I wanted to make. How do they determine who acquires COVID-19 but by their faulty testing that they use that they can adjust in order to make it fit whatever data they want to fit? Let me give you the layman's version of how to tell if you have COVID-19 or not. Are you ready? This is from a guy who doesn't have a medical degree, and you can tell me who you want to believe. The guys who've been lying to you, or common sense. Here's the Diego version of how you can tell you have COVID-19 or not. Are you ready? Do you have symptoms? If you got symptoms, you got it. If you don't, you don't. Oh, you can be an asymptomatic carrier, Diego. You're going to kill grandma that way. Yes! This is the crap they're telling you. So remember, they're telling you that only 8 people got COVID, and then they say, oh, but the vast majority of them all got COVID symptoms. Okay? Now there's also an entire section in the report where they include in there the fact that we don't know a whole lot about the vaccine, including whether or not it even is going to be effective beyond 2 months or not. And here's the point. The FDA approved, gave them the approval for the emergency use authorization, and now they can use it. And if anything bad happens to you, they're completely off the hook. And apparently, because of the emergency use authorization that was written in there, they're off the hook and the government's off the hook. You're just screwed. Just so you know. Now here's where it gets fun, and this is the part where I told Ammon the other day, I said, bro, you can't make this stuff up. I can't believe it. But it is. I downloaded a copy in case they start changing it in the future. Here's the 20,000 placebo recipients. Y'all ready? Here we go. Out of the 20,000 people who didn't get the vaccine, but they got a placebo, 162 of them expressed symptoms of acute respiratory illness, blah, 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 COVID-19. So they tested positive for COVID-19. And out of those 162, only 3 of them had severe COVID. Now, let me break this down on a chart so you can see what's really going on, all right? Here's what they're going to be telling you. They're going to tell you 20,000 people got the vaccine, 20,000 got the placebo. 8 who took the vaccine got COVID, and 162 over here got the got COVID-19. So we have a 0.04% rate or a 0.8%. Oh, and they're going to tell you, no, it's whatever the math is. 20 times higher. You're 20 times more likely to get COVID if you do not get the vaccine. This is all they're going to tell you over and over and over and over again in the news. So many times that you're finally going to believe it. But it's not true, and here's what the truth actually is. Are you ready? In their own report that you can download yourself off of their website, or we have it saved on our website that you can download as well, because they might change it. 20,000 people got the vaccine, 20,000 got the placebo. How many people got COVID symptoms over here? Over 12,400 of them got symptoms, and 168 got symptoms over here. When you dig deeper, they won't tell you the exact number, but they give you a percentage. This is why we have 12,400 plus, because it was a percentage of 20,000, but they wouldn't give you the exact number. So that's who had COVID symptoms, but then it goes further to talk about severe symptoms, and severe symptoms was not just like, well, Ammon says he feels bad, but Miranda says she feels real bad. Okay, that's severe. No, they had an actual scientific way of determining it by the amount of oxygen saturation they had in their blood when they were tested. So it was an actual metric that was actually scientifically determined and uniform across the study, which is impressive. They were doing real science, and that's good. So, how many people do you want to imagine got severe COVID symptoms who got the vaccine? Over 920 of them. And only 3 got it who got the placebo. Why is that? It's because they're going to tout the number 8. Only 8 tested positive for COVID. Only 8 tested positive for COVID. 920 had severe COVID symptoms, but they didn't test positive.
Sounds like Common Core to me.
Hello. Yeah, I know. Common Core math. That's exactly right. It's unbelievable. These are the true numbers, ladies and gentlemen. These are the true numbers. Furthermore, did people get Bell's palsy who got the vaccine? Yes. Did anybody at all get Bell's palsy who got the placebo? No. Did people get lymphadenopathy? Yes. Did anybody get the placebo get it? No. This is the chart that is data pulled straight from this report. You can download it and read it for yourself if you want to bore yourself to death. Oh, so he's asked me to explain the placebo. So for those who don't know what a placebo is, here's how it works when you do a scientific study, a double-blind placebo, blah, blah. A placebo is when they tell you that they're giving you a medicine, but you're not actually getting it. Okay? It could be something like water or something like that. Typically when it's a pill, like they're giving you a Tic Tac and they're giving somebody else an actual medicine. So in this case, and the reason to do that is to see if your own mind and your own body, your own belief system causes you, because you thought you're getting it, to get any better. So what that means is the people who got the placebo got nothing. And the people who got the vaccine got a vaccine. This is why it's called a placebo. So 40,000 people thought they got the vaccine, but half of them didn't. And that group, and they're tracking, so the people doing the scientific study are tracking who's who. Of the people who got the placebo, only 3 of them got severe COVID symptoms, and nobody had any secondary adverse side effects.
It would have been nice if they told us how many people actually had the COVID and then said how the placebo actually got healed.
Yeah, but again, at the end of the day, I have major problems with the whole how many people actually have COVID, because how does anybody know? The only way to truly determine it, just like anything else, you guys understand that right now inside of every single one of your bodies is this giant petri dish full of every disease and infection imaginable? You all have it all right now at all times. And this is literally 6th grade biology. This is elementary biology. We're loaded with bacteria, we're loaded with viruses 24/7, and your immune system fights it all off. If your immune system is weakened based on your environment, based on what you eat, based on overloading yourself with sugar, based on not sleeping enough, based on all whatever, then your immune system is weakened, and you are therefore not able to fight off those viruses and bacteria or whatever else it is, and then the virus takes over, and you manifest symptoms. So this whole business about being an asymptomatic carrier, 100% of humanity is an asymptomatic carrier 24/7 of some disease, some virus, some bacteria, some germ. Do you guys understand that? Yes. It's literally elementary biology. So quit buying into all this crap that they're telling you on the news. Quick question. Yes. He said, are there any recorded deaths? The answer to that question, yes, there were recorded deaths. However, the recorded deaths were plainly having nothing. This is the remarkable thing. This is so funny to me. Let me show you a news report here in a minute. The recorded deaths plainly had nothing to do with either the placebo or vaccine or whatsoever, because you have 40,000 people over the course of months. Somebody's going to die just for whatever reason. And there's specific, like one guy died of a stroke and somebody else died of, what other comorbidities they had and stuff like that. But because you mentioned it, it's continuing right to my next slide, which is a CNN that came out. And CNN literally said this. Don't tell me it's not propaganda trying to groom your mind. Because they literally said this. Don't be alarmed if people start dying after taking the vaccine. Because when people die after taking the vaccine, it won't necessarily have anything to do with the vaccine. Now, isn't this funny? When people die of a heart attack for the last 9 months, they said, oh, it was a COVID that caused the heart attack. When someone dies of a stroke, they say, oh, it was COVID that caused the stroke. If they die of lung disease, kidney disease, liver disease, AIDS, cancer, stroke, anything imaginable, it was COVID that did it. Because it happened during the same time frame, they say, so it was COVID that did it. But if somebody dies just, a day or two after getting a vaccine,
Okay. Like, we know all this. All these people know this. I wish they'd get back to doing shit. That's the whole point. These people are pretty action-oriented, so that's what a lot of their meetings are. I'll go back to them, though.
Just keep turning it back on to consumer. Tell me more lies, please. Please, oh, I just love this. Give me 2 for good luck. Give me 3. How many did they say? 2? Hey, if 2 is good, 4 is better, right? Come on. Do this side, 1 in each cheek. Come on, give me stabbed everywhere, baby. I mean, it's ridiculous the way people think. This is a real news report. Look it up yourself. The New York Times here reports 2 Alaska health workers got emergency treatment after they received Pfizer's vaccine. There was also reactions reported in Britain. I don't have this news article, wasn't able to find it in time before we got here, but there was, and you guys just Google it yourself, up in New York, I believe it was, there was some Catholic priest who was all excited to be part of the COVID vaccine, to be part of the test, and he felt, this new pope is a total socialist, and so he's turning all of these priests into socialists, not to mention the other things that they do, but anyhow, he died within 2 or 3 days of getting the vaccine. He just dropped dead. I heard that. So, I heard that before you said it, which is why I'm laughing. Here's a note in CNBC. I can't believe they published it, but again, just take a look at this, guys. Here's the headline. You can't sue Pfizer or Moderna if you have severe COVID vaccine side effects. The government likely won't compensate you for damages either.
Right.
So you go there and you get paralysis, half your face, you get Bell's palsy, or you lose motor function, or something like that. You can't work. That's it. You're hosed. You did it. You did it. And remember, these are the vaccines that in short order they're going to tell you you have to have before you can leave your house.
Go to work.
But it doesn't matter because you got ARs in the safe, so everything's cool. You'll never use one, but you got them. Yeah, so you feel tough. One last thing I'm going to share with you before we wrap this up. I gave you all the data. Cool? And we tried to break down as simple as possible a 56-page report and make it real simple for you so that you guys are inoculated against the lies of the media you're going to hear nonstop about this Pfizer vaccine. Now that I've left all the facts are done. Now let's get into conspiracy theory for a minute, okay? And here's why. This gets really complicated to find information about things. I mean, it's like this. How many of you guys know Ammon personally and know the type of person he is and know his story and stuff like that? But Google Ammon Bundy. Don't do it. You should do it. How many factual articles have you ever found about Ammon Bundy? It's impossible to find. So you know after the fact when there is a political agenda. Now they say we have an agenda. They say I do have an agenda for my PAC. You know that I'm members of the Freedom Man Political Action Committee, and I have an agenda for my PAC. Anybody want to know what my agenda is? My agenda is to one day shut it down and never open it ever again because it's no longer necessary. That's my ultimate goal. My greatest hope and aspiration is that I can shut Freedom Man PAC down and never open it again, because that means there's no more political corruption. It means there's no more ignorance to laws and rights. It means there's no more infringement upon people's rights. And when that day comes, I can't wait to shut it down.
Good luck with that, bro.
Good luck.
I just don't really have a lot of faith that that's going to happen in my lifetime.
Oh, shit.
But that is my true political agenda. Now, that being said, it's really hard to verify some of these details I'm going to share with you right now. Hold on one quick second, brother, because I want to wrap this up. So I'm going to put it in the realm of conspiracy just to please all those out there who say, you haven't verified that, because I am very big on verifying everything before I present it. This was an article published on what was the guy's name? Hal Harper or something like that? I can't remember his name. He's a news reporter, he's a journalist, and he's the very first American under the Obama administration to go to prison for writing an op-ed piece and publishing it against President Obama. No. I can't remember his name. I'll get it here a little bit later, but this is from his website. And this is actually all over the internet. It's been scrubbed off of Google. You search Google, it won't come up there, but if you search DuckDuckGo, it'll come up there. Here's a quote from someone who says, "They've killed God. I can't feel God. My soul is dead." And this was somebody who took the AstraZeneca vaccine trial, which is another company altogether. Once this came out, it caused to resurface an old conspiracy theory from the early 2000s that I will summarize for you and then show you a video, and then I'll leave it up to you to make your own conclusions. In short, there was a conspiracy theory that in the mid-2000s, the government under President George W. Bush was experimenting with a serum that attacked the VMAT2 gene, which is the one called the God gene, and the center of your brain that is responsible for your spirituality and your God consciousness. You know that your brain has physical areas, like one part that's responsible for taste and one part that's responsible for social interaction, blah, blah, blah. And if you get in a car accident and get brain damage, and it damages a part that controls social interaction, you might start acting like a sociopath because that part of your brain is damaged, and on and on. So they found a part of your brain that they believe to be the part that is your center of spirituality and God consciousness. And they determined that this through MRI readings, where they would see that part of the brain light up after either a spiritual experience or reading a religious text or whatnot. And this gene is a gene they've determined called the VMAT2 gene, which is the gene that is part of our DNA and our makeup that also makes us aware and conscious of God and spiritual things. And they determined in the mid-2000s that if they could create a serum that destroyed the VMAT2 gene and attacked that area of your brain, that they could eliminate religious fundamentalism. And all they need to do is figure out how to inject this thing into a bunch of Muslim Islamic radicals, and then they could have world peace. And it was determined that they would do so by going into these Islamic fundamentalist communities and offering them a free vaccine to keep them from dying. And of course, it would simply be this serum to destroy the VMAT2 gene. Allegedly, this was a vaccine called the FUNVax, or the Religious Fundamentalism Vaccine. And it was a secret project by the Department of Defense, and a guy got a hold of it who was in the Department of Defense, and he released all the information and made it public as a whistleblower. And they went after him and built some charges against him. Ammon knows this better than anybody, and threw him in jail, and he's in jail to this day. Allegedly. You can't verify it. I tried. However, what can be verified is this. It is true that there was a secret government presentation in regards to this very serum/vaccine that was leaked when whoever the leaker was leaked it. And he published it online. And it's out there. And the video is real. That part is true. Whether the story of whether the guy went to jail or not, I don't know if that's true. The guy's name, I can't verify that either. What we can verify, and which has never been debunked, is that the Department of Defense was working on this, and a video with the top brass in the Pentagon discussing this with the lead researcher was leaked online, and I've got a copy of it, and I'm going to play the 5-minute portion of it for you right now so you can hear exactly and see for yourself what these people are doing. And just note, if it is true, if the video you're going to see from 2005, which they're discussing a serum/vaccine to inject into people to destroy their center of spirituality and God consciousness, if that is true, how odd or how strange is this? And I'm going to make one last point before I play the video, and I'll get your question right here, brother.
Can I go before the video?
Yeah. Go right now.
So listen closely, because one of the generals asks him, how do you plan to distribute it? Are you going to aerosol it through the air? They were just going to spray it over the entire Middle East.
And the answer was no, it's through a vaccine. They're going to do the vaccine. You're going to see it right here in just a second. Now, the other thing I want you to note is this, a quick question I have for you guys, and that is, what are the two greatest obstacles to total and complete government tyranny? The first one is guns. Does anybody know what the second one is? Faith. Faith. For many of us, it's faith is stronger than guns.
Don't do the
For some, it's the other way around. Doesn't matter. I'm just telling you, those are the two great obstacles, which is why communism thrives through atheism. It fills the vacuum. If God is not God, government's God. And this is why you do not have communism anywhere other than where they first implanted atheism. You cannot have communism without eliminating God as your number one obstacle. So hey, we got people lining up to get us, stick them in the eye. Hey. Let me play the video for you, and that's it. I will be done.
If he puts the sixes over his eyes, then I'll call him.
Oh yeah, here's just information about the VMAT2 gene, etc. All right. But I just same thing, everything I just told you right now. So, Joey Lombardi was the alleged leaker, set up on false charges, imprisoned. I can't find information to verify any of that stuff, but the leaked video still exists, and here it is. Now, just so you can see for yourself, this video is from April of 2005.
Oh, I remember this video.
Who's the lead researcher?
It's not Bill Gates. It not only looks like him, but it sounds like him, but it's not.
And this is the expression.
Michael.
It's not Bill Gates, I guarantee it.
Excuse me. On the left over here, we have individuals who are religious fundamentalists, religious fanatics, and this is the expression, RT-PCR, real-time PCR expression of the VMAT2 gene. Over here, we have individuals. So let me complete. So over here, we have individuals who are not particularly fundamentalists, not particularly religious, and you can see there's a much reduced expression of this particular gene, the VMAT2 gene. Another evidence that supports our hypothesis for the development of this approach. What you see
here is by spreading this virus, we're going to eliminate individuals from going on a bomb vest and going into a market and blowing up the market.
So our hypothesis is that these are fanatical people, that they have overexpression of the VMAT2 gene, and that by vaccinating them against this, we'll eliminate this behavior.
By vaccinating against
so we have some very, very remarkable data in this next slide. Here we have two brain scans. These are fMRIs. These are two different individuals with different levels of expression of VMAT2. On top is an individual who's a religious fanatic, an individual, and we've repeated this numerous times, that has high levels of VMAT2. Now, this individual down here who had low levels of the VMAT2 gene, this individual would self-describe as not particularly religious. In each case, these individuals were read a religious text. This individual lit up the right middle frontal gyrus, shown here, and that's a part of the brain that's associated with theory of mind. It's a part of the brain that has to do with intents and beliefs and desires. In marked contrast, here's an individual who would not particularly self-describe as religious, and when they're read a religious text, what you see is that this part of the brain called the anterior insula lights up. This is a part of the brain that's associated with disgust or displeasure on hearing something.
Are you suggesting I take a CT scan with me when I'm evaluating people to determine whether they put a bullet in their head?
So the data that I'm presenting here supports the concept that we're proposing, and I think that we would not propose to do CT scans or fMRIs on individuals out in the hinterlands of Afghanistan. The virus would immunize against this VMAT2 gene, and that would have the effect that you see here, which is it's essentially to turn a fanatic into a normal person. And we think that will have major effects in the Middle East. Well, so the present
He just said right there, how do you suggest we do this through
so far have used respiratory viruses such as flu or
They use a respiratory
rhinovirus,
virus
and
or a
coronavirus.
coronavirus.
That's a satisfactory way to get the exposure of the largest part of the population. Most of us, of course, have been exposed to both of those viruses, and we're quite confident that this will be a very successful approach.
This is fascinating. What's the name of this proposal?
Yeah, so the name of this project is FunVax, which is the vaccine for religious fundamentalism.
And you have a proposal already?
The proposal has just been submitted, and I think that the data that I have shown you today would support the development of this project, and we think it has great promise.
I'll leave it at that. You guys can come to your own conclusions. Let's turn it back over to my man, Ammon.
Make no mistake about it, that is a sales pitch. And those possible buyers are very interested in it. Oh, yeah. And the buyers happen to be those in the Pentagon.
Do we know who the people were to meet?
How many here think Ammon Bundy is disinfo?
There are some in suits and there's also some in military uniforms. No, but there are some in suits and there's some in military uniforms. So, and I think it has been confirmed that that is in the Pentagon.
That's in the Pentagon,
Yes.
and it's a legitimate video that's legitimately legal.
Yes.
Is it on your webpage?
Yes.
It's still on YouTube.
All right. So,
Remarkably, that video is on YouTube.
I try not to watch YouTube, but I don't have to.
so remember,
Ammon Bundy is the guy they did the standoff out in over the
with that headline of
the cattle rancher guys out on the West Coast.
test recipient or participant, and he said that they have killed God, that he could not feel him anymore. Which is exactly what they were trying to accomplish or sell to the military. That's exactly what he said he could do. So,
But not only that, they also said that they would disperse it by calling it a vaccine that people would use for immunity.
for flu or coronavirus or other, and he even said that they believe that it would be highly effective. So, what's the word? Effective? Safe and effective.
To turn you into a normal person.
All right. So, we're going to get moving on some work here. we came here to work. We've done a lot of work already. And if you remember, we did some work last week, and we need to continue to do that, because I believe, and I think most people here would probably agree with me, that the only way to make sure the wicked do not hurt the good is for the wicked to fear the good.
Yeah.
And I realize that
This will be in the Idaho Press tomorrow.
that's great, good.
See, I like hearing what he says,
But
though.
I'm serious.
This guy's badass, I
I hope they
think.
do. Again, we're not gonna stand around and be really nice and patty cake with everybody and put any fear in the wicked.
That's right.
We're not. We must be prepared. And I also believe, as we said last week, and if I'm out of order, you can put me back in place. But I do not believe that force or violence should ever be used in offense. But I believe that it is our duty to use it
Oh, how weird.
in defense.
Amen,
Started.
brother.
Yup.
So,
Amen. 100%.
without being prepared. There is, and I didn't make the rules. Diego didn't make the rules. None of us made the rules, right? Whatever reason, we're in this world that God has created that is also a challenge to live in, right? And whoever unites the most has the power to control. I didn't make the rules. And so, if the wicked unite faster than the righteous, then the wicked have the ability to overpower the righteous. It is. Now, however, there's something that is very beautiful, and we see it happen many, many times, especially we read in the Bible, the Old Testament, mostly, the scriptures have it, where when the righteous people, the good people, trying to do what is right. I'm not saying we're perfect. Not saying, but trying to do what is right. And when they stand in defense, then the Lord gives them the advantage to prevail, to preserve their liberty. And so we are here today to start to discuss that. Last week we did, and this week we are going to continue. So and this is a discussion that we could have. We talked about last week about having small units, right? Starting to organize into small units, into your neighborhood units. We need to name that unit, whatever it is, because we need to automatically know what it is when we say it. Okay? And so I'm going to throw some ideas out there. We're not going to decide today, right? But what we're going to do is get everybody's, and then we're going to pick one, and you can email it if you want to info@peoplesrights.org, your ideas, or you can tell your area assistants, and the area assistants can pass it along. So I believe like the 3%ers use what's called an LGOT. Am I correct with that?
Yep.
Which is a little group of people. Okay? I don't like it because it's the GOP right there. And the GOP doesn't like us anymore. But I think that's great, because automatically when you hear LGOT, you know what they know what it is. Now, but I'm going to suggest, or I'm going to throw out a couple of things again, just kind of get your thoughts going. What about something like SGON, which is small group of neighbors, okay? Or this one I like, but I don't, Noid. And I'm just throwing this out there, neighbors organized in defense, okay?
The Noid.
Noid. Okay? What about, anyway, you get where I'm going, okay? You get where I'm going. Now, we can have fun with it. Domino's Pizza might really love it. I think that's where the noise comes from, right? somehow identify these small group of neighbors that are active in defense. Okay? That is something we need to do. We need to come up with a name, acronym, or whatever it is. So now, with this being said, you kind of have an idea, right? What you need to do. You kind of use, right? Hey, it looks like that guy at Walmart.
It actually is.
Okay, so we need to name it small units. We'll just say that for now. We need to name them. Secondly, we need to form them. Okay? And I'm telling you, we need to form them now. Like, you need to go home and you need to start forming these small units. We'll name them later. It's just like having a baby, right? Form it and then name it later, right?
Dude, this guy's about action. He wants to take action.
Let's get them going. It is important. Annoyed, yeah. Being annoyed. We can annoyed, yeah. Well, there's one I was working on that was noise, which is neighbors organizing in self and then defense. No, anyway, we were kind of going there. So. Anyway, it's self-expression. There you go.
American neighbors.
But we'll come up with some name as a people, and that will be what it is throughout people's rights. Right? We'll be communicating that way, but we need to organize them. Organize them. And this is not going to be done by people's rights. This is not going to be done by the area assistants. Right? This is going to be done by...
This is what I want the Flat Earth People Finder to do too. But I joined up on people's rights, and that's how I found out this video was on.
Find in your neighborhood those who you trust, those who you believe that you can depend upon when needed.
Yeah, Casey at North Idaho Exposed does work.
What's that?
I don't trust anybody.
What am I gonna do?
Hey, how many million people live there? Almost 1 million people live there.
You don't trust any of them.
I live in the Lorde, come on.
Hey, there's no excuses here, okay? There's no excuses. And remember, this is a checkbox for you, right? This is a checkbox for you. This is what you need to be doing right now.
Yep.
You need to be finding who you believe that you can depend on to go in these small units of people in your neighborhood to defend. Right? There was a question.
Oh, I joined Telegram app too, which is the peoplesrights.org uses Telegram app on your phone. I don't give a shit anymore about the apps.
Okay, give that to your area assistant, and then they'll send it on to us, or go to info@peoplesrights.org and send it. Yes.
Well, trying to fight for the door for access to these open meetings. So what about door, which is dead of rattlesnakes, like you started with earlier?
Yes.
So it would be your DOR, your door will be your den of rattlesnakes.
Den of rattlesnakes.
Christ died.
Okay.
So what? Who cares if the government knows about us?
All right.
Who gives a shit?
Triple S. Uh-oh.
They know about me already, man. I have a freaking channel. Fuck, man.
Can't fly.
I'm not gonna live any fear.
I was on the SSS. That's right. That's what mine did. Years and years.
With you, Jim Lotus, 100%.
Okay, send those in. So we need to organize these things.
He's right. Organize. Yep.
How big?
Hey, Fusion.
Okay, organize them. What else?
Somebody asked how large.
2 to 12
I agree, Abby.
people.
7 years old.
7 optimal.
Hey, Wield.
Okay, 2 to 12 people. Right? We talked about that last week. to the whole world.
I'm gonna start doing this locally, I think.
Small groups of people. Yes, in the back.
Off subject, but did they postpone the meeting at this Central District Health for tomorrow at 8:30?
My neck is killing me.
You know that?
No, it's still on schedule, but there's no votes.
See, these people are freaking doing shit too, man.
Okay.
8:30 a.m.
I hear you, Christ died, about the hoax with the Bundy situation.
Small groups of people, small units, right? Or whatever we decide, you need to work on how you're going to communicate. How, what, in multiple ways. How are you going to communicate? Are you going to communicate with whatever, radio, what's that? Yeah, but maybe there's 2 or 3 ways you need to communicate, right? Maybe there's 4 or 5. We talked about that last week. We're going to work on those things as a group, but there's nothing more important than doing
It looks like I'm in the room with
right?
it.
In these small units, these small neighborhood units. You also need to get yourself geared up, right? So you need to get yourself geared up. You need to help each other get geared up. These are things that we need to do right now. And people's rights are not going to do that for you. We're building a page.
Oh, I'm going to hit a link in here, okay.
Where you can get tons of information of how to do it. And we hope to add to that, get it better and better. A little bit like we're doing with the ham. We get experts, they get adding information, and people that know a lot more than I do about it. Because I hope that I made it clear last week that I'm not the authority on this at all, and I never claimed to be the authority. I just feel like it was my duty to communicate it with you and to motivate you to begin to do these things. Okay? What else? Support. Remember when I called the less able? That the less able need to support those who are actually actively in these small units. So I got thinking about it, and I go, that really was the wrong term, even though we're not trying to be politically correct here. But
physically able.
No, I think they're the able, right? They're able to support somebody. Yep. Right? They're able to support these, maybe younger, if you will, maybe
Josh Penn.
Or whatever.
You think Ammon is an actor too right now? He's acting?
Maybe they're able to do other things.
Could
in
be.
a small unit. But the fact of it is, if there was some reason why we had to activate these small units, right? Or they activated, because it would be more of a decision of themselves, right? They activated themselves. What if they've got, like myself, I've got 6 children. I can't write in front of you, sorry. I've got 6 children. I've got a beautiful wife. And, I've got some bills. And I have to feed them. And if I'm off trying to defend my neighbors or them, I might not be able to do that. And it does become the responsibility of others to support them if they're benefiting from the defense, right? And so that needs to be established. Where is it going to be established? In these small units. It's not going to be established by people's rights. Right? Not, especially not at first. It's going to be you and your neighbors agreeing that this is what's going to happen, and if there was a reason why someone could take care of their children, their wife, their bills, and feed them, there needs to be a way that those people in your neighborhood, in the small groups or around, can do that. Wow. Right? Yeah, I've seen it done. I've experienced it myself. I was incarcerated for 2 years. They destroyed my businesses. They tried to take everything from me. Right? They attacked my businesses.
That sounds like the truth to me.
National account. They actually went to my bank and demanded that they no longer use my services.
That's what they do, man.
Right? I watched them try to destroy my life while I was incarcerated. But guess what? There wasn't one meal that my family starved. There wasn't one time, not one meal that my family didn't go without. Not one. Never once did my house payment even go late. Right? And I could go on and on and on. To the point where sometimes my wife had to say, we don't need it. And she did that. We don't need it. Thank you so much. Right? And that's the way we get through this. But we have an opportunity now to begin to help people understand that. To be able to organize in our neighborhoods, in our small units, to be able to help people understand that this is a probability that sometime within some period of time, that's maybe sooner, maybe later, that there's going to be a need for us to defend ourselves, and the need for our families, our children, our houses is not going to go away. We still have to eat. We still have to have a place to live. And figuring that out now is important. And I realize I'm being pretty general here. We'll get more specific as we go on. So if we could keep it to what I'm talking about right now, I want to open this up to thoughts, to maybe some insight from those who know, and just some reality here. But let's keep it within the scope of these small units. Let's not talk about a name right now because it's not important. But let's talk about organizing them, the communication within them, the gear that we need to equip, and the support, and anything else if I'm missing something, right? But let's keep it within the scope. Yes, we're back here.
So who are we talking about? Are these people's rights only people? Are these just a neighbor who is interested and vigilant? I understand that all 7 people need to kind of be on the board together, but it's not just people's rights members. If they're not interested in joining, getting the text, whatever.
Absolutely.
Can I answer that?
Yes, please do.
I shared this with you a little bit. I don't know if Pastor Don's here tonight.
If you want, I can bring the mic, but because there was a complaint. Yeah, just speak up loud because I don't know how much time we can spend. Come up here. The people on the line were complaining last meeting that they couldn't hear when people commented.
All right. So this is just beyond simple. It's God's way. I don't know how many of you have listened to Pastor Don, and he's very inspiring, as well as everyone that's talked tonight. Thank you, Diego. One statistic is that the death rate has actually gone down. So if you think you have a pandemic, wouldn't the death rate go up?
Right.
The scamdemic, so thank you. But Pastor Don shared, I don't know, 3 months ago, an inspiring sermon about uniting neighbors, right? Isn't that this? We're supposed to be able to unite neighbors. So none of our friends or neighbors at the time were part of people's rights. But his sermon about getting right with your neighbors, love God with all thy heart and thy soul is the number 1 first commandment, and the second commandment is what? So that was his sermon, and it was strong and powerful, and my wife and I were inspired by it, but our pride made us drag our feet. We had just some, stupid little tiffs with our closest neighbor right behind us, a couple in their 40s, I guess, but dumb things, how dumb things can happen with, relationships, but just stupid stuff that didn't really mean anything, but we had some tiffs, and we thought, we need to go make this right. So we drug our feet for, a month or so, thinking we still need to do this, but our pride and our even a little fear of how they'd receive us just made us hold up and not do that. Well, we went and we got the courage to do it, and it was so simple to go over there and knock on the door, to give them a little something, and share our appreciation for them. First of all, they have the American flag always flying. We appreciate their patriotism. And so we shared and found common ground, and God immediately immediately blessed us. It was immediate that we were blessed, and that will happen. That was easy for us, and I'm not saying that can happen with you. I mean, the brother back here mentioned, you know, do they have to be part of people's rights? Heck no. They're your neighbors, and that's your small unit that Heaven's talking about. So I challenge you to do that. If you have any disagreements, figure it out on your own. You got to follow the Spirit. Like, you know, there's the...
I don't know, man. These guys sound legit to me.
Knowing, but then there's, you got to follow the Spirit, like we shared tonight. So we were blessed immediately. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And remember what People's Rights is. People's Rights is a communication network, right? We are organized, but we are not a hierarchy. It is a network of people. And there's a whole bunch of people that are part of People's Rights that might not have necessarily text rights to 80123 or that have gone to peoplesrights.org and signed up. They may in the future, they may not. And in fact, a quick little story that happened to me today, I had a legislator that called me and she wanted to just emphasize, because she has been traveling and sharing what's happening inside the state government with the terrible things that the House, Speaker of the House has been doing, Dryncke, and the governor, and so she has been traveling and expressing that to people all over, and she called me specifically to let me know that what People's Rights has done in the state of Idaho is unprecedented. She has never seen the unity and the willingness to stand for rights ever before in her entire career. She expressed to me that there are many groups that are not People's Rights that are uniting because of the example of People's Rights.
Yeah. Yo, Tanner.
And we don't care how they unite, right? We just don't care. We're just glad they're doing it. Yes.
Once you have all this together, I would be willing to put together a brochure.
Okay.
That people could use as time.
There you go.
That would be great. Now let's get back to this. So, answer the question.
Yeah, I'll start doing that, Isaiah.
Be your neighbors, right?
Yeah, I'll go to my neighbors.
People that you can tell. Before we even started People's Rights, we had this 10, 100, 1,000. This was kind of a theory we were working on, and 10,000. And this would be, in 10 minutes, you'd have 10 people respond. In 100 minutes, you have 100 people respond. And so on for 1,000 minutes, 10,000 minutes. Like when one person was in need, their rights were being violated. 10 people would surround that person in 10 minutes. 100 people would surround that person in 100 minutes. And so on and so forth. Now, we could try to duplicate that, right? But it can only happen in your neighborhoods because they've got to be there. They got to be close by. Yes.
I'm not professing that this has got any real. I'm not prophesizing anything. I'm not trying to. Anything, but I do have a friend that's a lieutenant colonel in the Army who told me, and this is to emphasize the urgency that you've been displaying here in the front, that we need to get going now. This is not something we need to do tomorrow or after lunch next week. This has to happen today. You need to gear up. We need to start supporting each other, and we need to start communicating immediately. December 21st.
Yeah, these people want to do something.
That's the date that you need to be looking, because they're getting back information, back channel information, that something is coming down the line, something's coming down the pipe, and December 21st is the date that they've heard so far.
Thank you.
So that's in 3 days.
I hope they don't.
I would like to, that in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses shall every word be established, right? That is the third time I have heard that. Well, you are the third person that I've heard that from. So, anyway, I have no idea. So he said that he has a very good friend who is a what? He's a lieutenant colonel that would be in the Army, and has expressed to him the need for us to be prepared for December 21st, correct? And
Hopefully it's not Q.
What has happened last time, there have been some that have theories on that, but That came from a lieutenant colonel in the Army. So, yes.
Christ, who cares? Christ died and rose again for you. What? Like, if the people are standing together, they would have to send in the army to stop the people.
Two legislators and myself have been communicating in the last week or so fairly extensively. I initiated some of it based on reading I was doing. And there's agreement with them that it appears between now and the 6th of January that we can anticipate, well, they use the word maybe, it isn't really a word, but some horrendous violence in anticipation that Trump will not leave the White House. And that would be based on the constitutional right of Congress to vote him in response to arbitration in various states as to the electoral outcome. And so they are, last word they told me was, make sure you got plenty of food and water and you got ammunition.
Okay, in the mouth of two or three witnesses shall every word be established. I have also been told that same thing by one other person. You have to do it quickly, we're running out of time.
All right, you don't have time to prepare and take your time. You have to do this now. You should already be meeting with your neighbors, okay? You need to organize your neighbors.
That's legit.
You need to find out what they have and what they don't have.
Uh-oh, that's scary.
You need to find out what their foodstuffs are. How prepared are they?
Ooh.
Do they have a 2-year supply? Do they have a 2-month supply? They better have a 4-month supply anyway, okay? Communication. If you've done away with your landline, you were wrong. If you can hook back up your landline, you're going to need it. Because we're going to lose cell phones and we're going to lose internet.
This guy's ready for war.
Have other communication devices. Ham radios, CB radios, landline phones, okay? Gearing up, you should already be geared up. If you don't have your pack in your car tonight,
oh no!
Walk home. If we get hit with an EMP, you are not prepared. You need to have.
Yeah, he's a prepper, Jim.
You need to have your firearms with you.
I think Ammon even wants to. Ammon wants to escort him off.
Your support needs to be logistical. If you're going to organize these people, you need to find out what type of 24-hour system,
this guy's
what type of perimeter you can set up.
This guy's strung
and
tight.
You need to set that perimeter.
The perimeter.
To protect that perimeter, and you have to do that logistically. So the neighbors that you have to be able to shift work to provide that protection. The people that cannot provide that protection need to be cooking the food to protect the to feed the people that are protected.
Yes, we must sleep in shifts.
They're logistically, you need to get this done.
Yeah.
You better start on it tonight.
Tonight.
And tomorrow.
It's like 11:30.
You meet with your neighbors. You have to get them prepared. You have to get them in line with
I was going to go play some PUBG.
Find out if they're going to be with you or against you. If they slam the door in your face, you know that they are going to be an enemy. Okay? Remember that when things go down, people are going to want to come and take what you have.
Oh my gosh.
You need to be prepared for that.
Talk about the zombies.
You can offer them something and tell them don't ever come back, or you may have to do the ultimate. But you better be prepared in your mind for all of that. Okay?
Hoo-ha! Hoo-ha! Hoo-ha!
I want to say this, and then I would love for John to get it back up here.
But that's got cool. He's
and we will end this. This is a message.
He is right. He is right. I agree. I was just kidding.
Military. This is a message to law enforcement, if you will. I do not believe that law enforcement was the purpose. These small units, if you are a righteous man or woman, should not intimidate you. You should not feel threatened by the American people organizing in small units to defend themselves. You should not be threatened by that. We will stand with you and beside you in the defense of our liberties if you will just make that decision. We are not a threat to you. And so look at what we are doing as something positive, something that is right, something that our founders understood clear back when. We are not a threat to you.
Right.
If you are a righteous man or woman, you should not deem what we are talking about here today as a threat. You should deem it as something that you support, that you want us to do, that you encourage us to do, and that you even assist us in doing it. That's what you should do.
Right.
Right. And that is our message today. And I hope after all this talk that we can take a few minutes and feel the Spirit of the Lord, so that peace will come into us, and then we will close this meeting. And
Guys, look at that. I'm putting the link
now
to North Idaho Exposed YouTube channel in the chat, and I don't see it. Do you guys see that link? Wow, they are hiding links. I just was putting in the link to North Idaho Exposed. I don't know. Fistful of Truth got yours in. Fishful got his in. What? How did you do that, Fistful? All right, I'm gonna go to that real quick. Let's. All right, you guys can listen to that if you want. I'd put the link in, but you can't even find. I tried to put this link in here. Here, I'll put if you want to listen to Guitar Guy. Be my guest. Let's see if it works this time. All right. Let me see. Did it come in? Nope. So, but here. I just put on
top 6 answers on the board. We asked 100 men.
Hold on.
What would you do if your beautiful date told you the earth was flat?
Laugh at her.
Laugh at her.
Tell her she lying.
Tell her she lying. Pass the play. Let's play. All right, Sarah. You talked to 100 men. What would you do if your beautiful date told you the earth was flat?
I hope he'd agree with me.
This is Fistful of Truth's video.
Agree with her.
Agree with me.
Yeah, 36.
I would. I just met you. We're on a date. You fine. You tell me the earth flat. That's cool. I agree. Yeah. Dan, one strike. What would you do if your beautiful date told you the earth was flat?
I'd ask her to take me to the edge.
Take me to the edge. Yeah. Drop me off.
I've heard them say that.
And do something. Yeah.
Put the link into this again for me too, if you can.
But Charles, if the earth was flat, you'd go driving along, or you'd be in a boat going, and you'd reach the end, and you'd fall off the earth.
You've got backwards. If the world were a globe, a ball, and if you tried to get to Australia, you'd go over the edge. Any direction you went, you'd go over the edge. Only a globe has an edge. Obviously and logically, a flat earth would not have an edge.
I think Fishful said that. Oh, I see. Yeah, you put me in here. So, yeah, he was telling me to watch this. I'll put a little of mine on here.
Spinning at 1,000 miles an hour at the equator.
I have.
So if you're in a commercial plane
and you're traveling in the same direction of the 1,000-mile-an-hour spin of the Earth beneath you, are you going to make ground, or are you going to lose ground, and why? You understand the question? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, because it's moving 1,000, you're moving 500
Right.
in the same direction.
Yeah.
Are you going to lose ground?
Yeah. What's going to happen?
Well, the fact that you get to your destination, you can't lose ground.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't. Now, what you're saying is that just because you get to your destination, is proving that that the ball is spinning, or is it more that you're accepting somehow you get there? Because logically speaking, you would expect that you'd be losing ground. Yep. Now, I'm going to tell you the reason scientifically what they tell us they want us to believe. This is what they want us to believe. There's not many clouds out today, but the clouds above our heads supposedly are traveling with the spin of the Earth at 1,000 miles an hour.
So yeah, that's on my Zoom Truth 2 channel. Or like, I'll put this in the freaking link. I would if I could, but I don't seem to be able to. So, and you guys could watch this one too, but if you want. Hang on, let's see. Anyhow, that's a Fistful of Truth channel. And I put the link in. Fistful, go ahead and put that in if you can again. Because it isn't going in. Real quick, I'm just going to write down Zoom Truth 2. Zoom Truth 2 is my main backup now, and then Zoom Truth, one word, live, is where I'm going to be, I think, posting. Zoom Truth space live is I'm going to post my these live streams that I'm gonna make them private, but then I'm gonna post them onto Zoom Truth Live. But probably no one will see them because there's like freaking 40 people who know about that channel. So, but I got 2 strikes right now. So if I get one more, this channel is gone, and that will whatever. I guess it doesn't even freaking matter, does it? Yeah, I see that. I don't. That's crazy. I gotta. Oh wait, I see this link just went in here actually above. Oh, I see. I see the links on mine. I don't know if you guys can see that, but yeah, I can see my own links. You know what I mean? They make it seem like it's working, but then when I look at it on my phone, if you look on my phone, here I'll put it like this. You know, obviously none of you guys are seeing it. There is no link. Let me see. Oh, here it is. I don't know if you can see that. It's so crazy, man. Those people, they're such scumbags. So I lost Ammon Bundy. Wait, is it, or I guess they're such scumbag. Oh, here it is. Yeah. Oh no, this is mine. So I'm not even sure if I could find it again. Sorry about that. Real fast, peoplesrights.org. I'm going to put this. Let's see if this will go into the stream. Do you think? Let's see. Control V. Boom. Does that go in? Nope. Not even. I can't even put in. So it's just peoplesrights.org. This is just so insane. This is so funny. So yeah, here's this. I don't know. I like what he's saying, man. The messages he's saying is dead on, right? We need to start to freaking. The government is obviously not made of the people, so we might as well start banding together and freaking taking care of business ourselves. Just in case everybody wants to know, F.E. Fokker, Flat Earth Fokker, his channel has 2 strikes. F.E. Fokker Reloaded is his new backup channel, and then the Parhar Court, because he is going through some crazy stuff in terms of dealing with the BS from not going along with the whole what do you call it? Quarantine. So North Idaho exposed is the I guess I can put this in. I'll just put that channel is North Idaho exposed. He's been doing really good work and he's getting out there. So guys, I don't know. Oh, here's Ammon's channel. Good. I forgot about it. They're still in there. So, I mean, this is supposedly live. I mean, I don't know where Idaho is. Maybe it's an hour difference, so it's like 10:40 at night. I don't know, man. These people, I mean, they're like in some like little place. It's not like there's 10,000 people. Seems like a lot of effort for a honey trap. But, you know, who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. North Idaho exposed, guys. Check those guys out. Casey is the guy who runs that channel. And I think that's it. I just wanted to play this Ammon Bundy guy, show you what he's thinking, because they hide him. And then I'm on. When I signed up for People's Rights, they use a phone app called Telegram. And then what happened was I got a text saying, see, like this is this is good stuff. I got a text. Let me see. Saying, here, I'll show you. Saying that that they were having this, and they gave the link, and I was able to hit the link. So they're not making it easy. The Flat Earth People Finder phone app, if you're not on there, guys, please consider getting on there. I don't really have anything else to say on this stream, except thank you everybody for for coming out to my channel and listening and supporting it, and I appreciate the comments in the comments section. I never really ever tell people thank you for doing all that stuff, and it it does make it a lot better when there's actually people who are in the watching the video and take the time to be here and communicate with each other. So anyway, please guys, think about it. Get starting up your please think about it seriously. Maybe start up your you don't have to use People's Rights like the guy said. Just get your own little neighborhood band together. Maybe we could come on here and talk about what we're accomplishing in our own neighborhoods. It's going to probably be brutal, but I plan on I think going around to my neighbors at some point, because this shit is absolutely freaking insane. All right, guys, I'm going to